just keep fighting, each and every game because it's any given Sunday.
Welcome to Mustard Cat Sports Challenge. This is episode number 3, and we have a wonderful guest, and his name is the one and only StayAtHomeGary. And Gary, you also are a part of Mustard Cats, a co-owner, and a part of the whole business and how it operates. You got any thoughts?
Yes, I am. You guys may know me for all of my dress-up cosplay things on TikTok and Instagram. StayAtHomeGary or Gary Bob, you might know me by. But yes, as Lucas mentioned, I was one of the OG members here at Mustard Cat Sports. I have a big sports addiction. So our good pals from high school, I've known Lucas since we were in diapers. And we went off and created a company together, and here we are. They have me kind of mainly in the janitorial area of the company, but I am very much enjoying it so far and ready to talk some sports with you people.
Yes, and if you guys are ever emailing or talking to Mustard Cats, you're probably most likely talking to Gary. So just so you guys know that little tidbit. So if you ever email Mustard Cat Sports, 90% of the time it is Gary. So
that is true. However, 100% of the time, all my responses, I say Lucas TA at the bottom. So if you got a problem with me, you got a problem with Lucas, actually. So nothing ever actually comes back down onto me. I try to segregate that.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot, pal.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Well, let's get right into some of the questions. We will start with, where are you from, Gary? And where are you living currently?
Born and raised, New York City. Kansas. No, I am born and raised in Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
However, I do not live there right now. I moved to Philly for about 3 or 4 years before COVID. And then right when COVID hit, I decided to get the heck out of Dodge and move to Switzerland. So I currently live in Switzerland right now, Bern, Switzerland, the capital. If you've never been, I would very much recommend it. One of the most beautiful places in the world. If you like mountains, lakes, it's got it all. Lucas, he's never been here. I don't know why I keep telling him to come out. He keeps saying he's too poor. So if you got the money, come on out to Switzerland. But yeah, I live in Switzerland right now. I will be here for at least another year. And it's looking like I'll be moving back home to the Minnesota area, probably end of 2025, roughly. But we will see. Time will tell.
Quick question on Switzerland, Gary. How's the pizza?
The pizza is, well, it's good, but they don't cut it for you.
Oh.
I think that's actually kind of a European thing as a whole. Definitely in Italy. They'll just slap a big old pizza right in front of your face, and you have to go at it with a fork and knife. So just kind of. So it's that. Besides that, the taste is very good. It's very you get that Sicilian, you get that the basil. Oh, I love it. Yeah, very good. Not as fattening as the States.
Would the Ninja Turtles approve of it?
It would be a little bit too fancy for them. They like Donatello. He likes the big string cheese. They don't got that here. It's nice, cute, little perfect triangles. Everything's very neat and orderly. No more, no less. The portions are quite small, as many people probably realize when they come to Europe. It is not like the States where they just pump your guts full of fattening stuff. So, anyways, very, very good.
All right.
But good pizza. Tastes good.
That's good to know. I'm kind of disappointed on the Ninja Turtle side. Probably why the Ninja Turtles have never been over there. So,
Well, they probably don't speak German either, so
You're probably
doesn't
right on
help.
that. So obviously you also said that you're obsessed with sports. So please elaborate, as in what sports do you watch? Do you watch all the sports?
Well, yeah, I do not have any biases towards any sports. I'm a big sports fan, top to bottom. I will say I like to throw a little wager down here and there, and that generally gets it to where I can watch cricket for all I care. If I got a buck or two on the game, I'm usually pretty informed on the teams and the league. So I like it all. I really do. I played baseball throughout the years up to the collegiate level, and then decided to hang it up. You're on the road so much. So um, anyway, so I'm probably my best sport I'm actually good at is probably baseball. My favorite sport to watch has got to be football.
Okay.
Hockey would be right there. Number three, basketball. I love it. The issue is here in Switzerland, I can't watch any of this stuff. I have a 7-hour time difference. So by the time I get any sort of, for Midwestern, it's like a noon game. It's 7 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
So any sort of prime time situation, which is basically all basketball, all hockey, I can't watch it because it starts at 2 a.m. or I got to stay up till 5 a.m. and ruin my whole week. So I don't do that. But I do watch a lot of highlights, a lot of recaps. The Sunday Ticket allows me to watch all the football replays. So generally pretty up to date with all these things, even though I'm not able to watch a ton of it live. Although, Lucas, for as good as anyone, I'm usually up till 3 a.m. and checking in on my favorite baseball players or hockey players, seeing if they have any home runs or goals, you name it. So I generally can't stay. I can't stay away from that. I love that. I love watching things live. So I am known to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch a game every now and then, but it has to be good.
Yeah, agreed. Well, what are your favorite teams? Favorite players? Who do you got?
Well,
Who do you
it's going
look
to sound
for?
probably pretty similar to Sammy Boy's answer the other day. Favorite teams? We're going to obviously number one, Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
For football. Baseball, I believe my favorite team right now would be the Baltimore Orioles, but I actually would say the Minnesota Twins. I've always loved the Twins. They're great hometown. It's one of the few hometown teams I like. But the Orioles, big Gunnar Henderson guy, of course. And so I've fallen in love with his play style over the last couple of years, so I follow the Orioles quite closely. Second in baseball would be definitely Jackson Merrill and the Padres. So I've also followed the Padres pretty closely. As you know, I'm a big player fan, so I tend to like a lot of teams. Not really. I don't know. I'll never call myself a bandwagon situation where I'm cheering for Tom Brady and all these guys. It's not really like that. It's hard to do that in baseball, actually, I think. But hockey, Colorado Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar. These guys are some of the funnest. This is the funnest group of players to watch year in, year out. So Colorado Avalanche. I cannot stand the Minnesota Wild, even though I'm from Minnesota. But here I am. I'm a Packer fan too. So why would I like Minnesota?
To go off that, before you finish any other players' teams, is there a reason why you dislike the Wild, the Minnesota Vikings? Is it just you just don't like the colors, the smell?
Little bit of everything there, actually. It's maybe it will make more sense if I tell you how I became a Packers fan. First grade, there was two teachers you could have gotten assigned to, Miss Stringer and Miss Peterson. And Miss Stringer had a whole room of Green Bay Packers stuff. Miss Peterson had all Minnesota Vikings stuff. Big border battle between the two teachers. Well, I was put in Miss Stringer's class. And so loved seeing the Reggie Whites, the Antonio Freemans, the Brett Favres. And that year, first grade, the book fair came to town. And they always had a little group of posters. And so what do? I unravel this big Reggie White down in his stance poster, and that hung on my wall probably better part of my life. So ever since ride or die Green Bay Packers, I love the Clay Matthews jersey you're rocking right now, Lucas. He was one of my top players back in 08, 09, roughly, circa. Yeah. So that's how the Packers. So, of course, if you like the Packers, you don't like the Vikings. There's no way.
Yeah.
Don't get it confused, though. As I said, I like players. So, Jay Jettis, I have a lot of respect for that guy. He could ball out. Everyone else on that team can go die. Now, of course not. I don't mean that. But yes. So anyways, that's that. And then the Minnesota Vikings fans, I think, are very similar to the Wild fans.
Yep.
Where they almost care more that your other team is that your team, the Packers and the Avalanche, are going to lose than they do their own team's going to win. So I just have never been able to stand that. And of course, it's a small sample size. You go to bars in Minnesota, you're going to get a lot of them. But
True.
We just over time have realized that there's a similar sort of grouping of fans there that I don't generally like. But what I will say is the Minnesota Twins and the Timberwolves for the NBA team. Love the stadium, love the fans, love the experience, love the teams. Okay. So I go 2 for 4 on if I like Minnesota teams.
All right. Well, do you got any other teams you enjoy, players?
Well, I'm tracking Reese Hines for the Reds. Like I said, I like a lot of young players that come up to the league and make an instant splash. So on baseball, I've had a lot of fun tracking baseball rookies over the last couple of years here. So that's probably it for baseball. Those 3 teams, probably the Padres, the Orioles, and the Reds. Basketball, I definitely am a big John Morant guy. I know he got some legal issues, kind of a gun wielder, whatever. What are you going to do? But he can still ball out, and I think the Memphis Grizzlies are the young, fun team to watch moving forward. Jake LaRavia, another good guy I like to watch. So I think those guys are going to ball out come NBA season. Ja will be back. He'll be healthy. So I'm excited about that. Hockey, of course, like I said, Colorado Avalanche till I die. That's all I want to watch. McKinnon and McCarr, these guys, hopefully Gabe Landeskog, our captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Hopefully he's back. We've been without him for better part of 2 years. So lot to be excited about in my sports world. But other than that, big Caitlin Clark fan, of course, when it comes to the WNBA, but I can't say I've ever watched a game. But I like to follow these people. I like to follow these players and see what they do for the sports.
All right. Well, before we get into the 2 Mustard Cat sports specific questions, you very small touched on you played some baseball. Is that the only sport that you played back in the day? And do you play anything right now? Any amateur stuff? Want to get into any amateur stuff?
Well, you know as good as anyone, I was a top of the line bowler.
Yep, that's right.
Growing up. I bowled all the way from probably kindergarten, maybe even before. I was probably 3 years old when I started rolling the balls down the aisle. So yeah, I bowled all the way through high school. We actually won 3rd in state my junior year. So big bowler. I did a lot when I was in Philly. I still did some, Wednesday night leagues. It's always fun. Have a beer, a little pizza, maybe, perhaps, and knock some pins down. So I do enjoy a good bowling session. But no, I haven't played baseball since a little bit of a amateur league right out of college. And I would like to get back into it, actually. I think it would be fun. I've actually looked into it out here in Switzerland. They don't play baseball. There's no baseball diamonds in Switzerland. So they like hockey and they like soccer. Or football, of course, they call it. So yeah, no, I don't play anything right now. But I do think when I get back to the States, probably pick up a bat again and hit some dingers.
All right. Well, do you like dogs? Do you like cats? And you gotta choose between one or the other.
That's the easiest decision in the world. It's dogs, and it's not even close.
Do you have any reasons
Um,
behind it, or just I'm just gonna leave it at that?
well, dogs are, dogs, they're man's best friend, right? So they actually like to be pet. They actually like to cuddle. Cats just run away from you when you try to pet them, or they got a little dandruff on their butts. So it's just, I definitely think dogs are the way to go. And I don't really have any cat people in my life. Maybe one, my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Shout out. But yeah, those cats are like the only two cats in this world that actually liked me. Don't hiss at me. They actually want to come up. But other than that, I have a terrible track record with cats liking me.
All right.
But dogs I would rather have than humans
Okay.
in the house.
All right. Well, leading into the other mustard cat question. If you could only have one condiment, are you going to choose mustard or ketchup?
I really wish ranch was an option,
Oh, it's not.
but it's not. So, given that situation, I'm going to take ketchup all day long. Ketchup you can just put on anything. It goes good with absolutely everything. And yeah, of course, mustard has its place, but outside of a bratwurst, I can deal with it. Ketchup, some people put it on pizza. Some people put it on mac and cheese. I'm not one of those people, but I do enjoy it, and it goes a long way. So I'm a dog ketchup guy. If the
All right.
companies is called mustard cats, I'd be dog ketchups. I was not a part of the naming, by the way, folks at home. So
And
yeah,
you guys heard it here. Gary is now officially off the team.
I am a dog ketchup till I die.
Well, Gary, let's get into some current events because that's what's going on right now. And there's not a whole lot that I found going on, but a couple key injuries. I saw Jordan Love return to practice yesterday.
Yeah,
He there was no confirmation quite yet on if he was even going to be remotely playing. There was nothing out yet. So as of this recording, I'm unsure if he'll play. I highly doubt he will. But do you have any kind of thoughts on, like, obviously you want Jordan Love to get back as soon as possible, but you don't want him too soon because you don't want him re-injuring that. So
of course. Well, we just shelled out a whole lot of money for him. So yeah, there's really no reason to rush him by any means. But I don't even think that's what's happening here because they would have put him on the IR, right? The IR has a minimum of 4 weeks. So the fact that they haven't done that tells me they think it's a 1 to 3 week injury. And actually, yeah, watching him on the sidelines of last Sunday's game was quite promising. He was running around, zipping around. He looked pretty good. He looked actually really good. So it's a good positive sign to see he's back at practice. Of course, like I said, I'm a big Packer guy. So we want Love out there. Loves the guy who's going to lead us to a dynasty. We're talking 7 Super Bowls in 10 years type of player here. And you heard it here. So we obviously want him back, but there's just no reason to rush him. And then, of course, Malik Willis came in and got the W week 2 versus the who did we play? The Colts. So it was there's no reason to really rush him to get back, especially if we're winning games. Our defense looked a lot better week 2. We definitely cut back on the penalties, but I think we're going to see some fireworks with our very young team, young receivers. Once Love gets back, starts getting that flow going again, I think we're going to see some big time stats coming his way.
Yep.
So I'm excited to get him back.
Yeah, I don't know about that dynasty, pal. That's a Tom Brady kind of thing. I don't think that's going to be done unless you get a little help from the referees, if you know what I mean.
Well, we can ask Patrick Mahomes about that.
But I definitely think he could definitely lead the Packers to at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls. So he's very talented.
Yeah, says the guy wearing a Packer jersey. You're so quick to discredit the Packers. Why not? Why can't he be this 7-year dynasty, 10-year guy? Look at us. We got Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Why not Jordan Love?
I'm just saying I have an issue with the Packers front office, and I'm not going to go into detail on that, but that's just what I.
Well, you and me both, pal, on certain things, but it's. I believe we have a very, very good combination working right now of youngsters with a guy like Jordan Love. You know, he's a rookie in 2020. How can we call him a veteran? But he feels like a veteran. He's got that presence because he sat behind Rodgers for 4 years. So it's or whatever it was, 3 years. But it'll be exciting to watch once he gets back, gets up to speed. That injury was we avoided some major damage with that. So I was glad it was only a sprain and not a tear.
True that. Well, going into worse injuries, Tua, he was put on the injured reserve this week, and obviously, like you were saying, that's a minimum of 4 weeks before he can even attempt to come back. I've seen a lot of stuff already all over, everyone reporting it, from the mainstream media to ESPN to average Joes to all that. And my whole thought on the whole thing is, it does come down to him. It's his decision, the team's decision. I don't like, obviously, there's a huge danger in multiple head concussions, especially the ones that he's had recently, like CT. What is that? CTE is a real thing, obviously. Just quality of life, but I think it comes down to his decision. But again, that's my opinion. I guess I would love to see him back, but at the same time, if he walked away, I can respect him for that 1,000%. So, but
right,
he's obviously going to be out for 4 weeks, and I think the Dolphins are basically going to do nothing. So,
yeah, it's really unfortunate. I tend to agree with what you're saying. I right when I saw the play, oh no, because this has been 4 concussions he's had, and it just the issue is they all seem to happen prime time.
Yeah,
so every time it happens, you got the whole world watching, and you have the entire everyone who's even a remote sports fan is watching, and you watch him have that, frozen, and it's very hard to watch because he's only 26 years old, and his brain is already clearly heading towards mush.
Yeah.
Which, there's been a lot of studies about the CTE and things, how later in his life, it's not going to be a fun one. That said, I have always said this, and this is maybe a hot take for some, but even like in baseball, steroids. I've always said if you're willing to put your body on the line for my enjoyment, let them do what they want to do. If someone wants to shoot up and it's going to affect their life later on, but they want the legacy because they can hit the long ball, I say let them do it. So maybe it's a hot take. So I look at this a little bit in the same sense where this is his life. So if he wants to keep playing, whether it's for money, I don't think it's for money because he just got all that guaranteed stuff last year, which is amazing because that takes that side of it out of it, where he doesn't have to retire due to money.
Yeah.
But if he wants to keep playing for legacy, look at, like you say, Tom Brady, where if he wants to play for legacy, and this is, I say let him. It really is hard. I do think the fact that this keeps happening in prime time, that it's unfortunately going to probably force the NFL's hand at some point. And especially with all this drawback we're getting from all these analysts and shows and podcasts where people are just absolutely calling for the NFL to do something, put him aside, take him out, yank him out. So to my understanding, though, is if he is cleared to return medically, then he will not, he would walk away with the money he's set to earn this year, which is, let's call it 25 million roughly. But if he is not medically cleared, that is where he will get basically a full guaranteed 167 million. I think I believe those are roughly the numbers. So it's going to be interesting to see, because this is going to put a lot of heat on the NFL and their concussion protocol. It's going to put a lot of heat on the medical people who are examining him, who are going to sign off on that. Because like I said, even if they say he's good, and this happens again
Mhm.
on in the next year or two on prime time, or even not, it's just gonna it like I do believe we are getting to a point though where at some point it's going to force the NFL's hand, and the NFL is not going to clear him for medical, ability to come back. And then once they do that, then of course he'll have to walk. But I say if he's 26 years old, so he's got a lot of life ahead of him. I think I liked McDaniels' coach said you're the head. You're the starting quarterback of your family, and that is true. So he does need to think about his family, but um, it really is his decision. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of this, because it might not even be in his hands if they don't clear him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it definitely comes down to the NFL and what they want to do. I can see the side of the NFL not wanting to let him go out and play because, of course, you would never want someone to die out on the field because that is a very bad thing to have happen, especially if it was on prime time. Um, but it just showcases that the sport is a dangerous sport still. Um, and they're literally throwing their bodies around. I guess one more thing to say about Tua is he probably needs to start learning how to slide rather than go
Yeah.
face and neck forward because that's you're just asking for trouble then. So
It's the truth. And I was thinking about that, even if he says, please, NFL, I'll never do this again. I'll always slide. I'll always slide. It doesn't matter. Like, think of how many concussions come for quarterbacks on sacks where they get their arms wrapped up and they have absolutely no means of bracing the fall and their head just snaps. So, like, the game is so brutal that, especially with how I believe, to my understanding, as you get 1, 2, 3, 4, like they start being easier
yeah,
to come. It takes less and less to rattle the cage. So I definitely think that even if he does learn to slide, he's still in hot water. But yes, he needs to learn to slide. That's
yeah.
for sure.
No, agreed. Well, some more NFL news. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers, probably one of the best teams in the league. Uh, their star quarterback, Bryce Young, who has had a just atrocious beginning to his career. There was an article. Baker Mayfield basically came up and said that whatever happens with Bryce Young, if they end up benching him or he gets traded somewhere else, his story is quote unquote not over. Kind of like Baker Mayfield. He explained in his little article that he had that kind of same route. He was put into a system. It was not very good. He failed. He moved on, and now he's in Tampa Bay doing quite well. So I I tend to agree with what Baker says. Obviously, every quarterback's different. Would you love uh, Young to get a a good opportunity? Yes, because I think the one in North Carolina is just absolute trash. But
Right.
it's sad because sometimes you get into these you know systems, and if it's not set up for you, or if you have to put all the crap on your back and you can't do it, then you're just washed up, and you might not be washed up. You were just put
Right.
in a shitty situation. So
It's very true.
yeah,
It's one of those things where if you're the first overall pick, you're obviously going to the shittiest team in the
yeah,
league.
yep,
So, and if they're that bad, generally, the quarterback does a lot. The quarterback can win games by himself, not figuratively, but it is one of those things where if you're going into a system that is not set up to win, it's a little bit unfair. But I get it. You're drafting these quarterbacks and you're throwing them right in.
hmm
But like, look at the Packers, right? They do this development system.
yeah,
It's certainly worked for us.
yeah,
And it's hard to even spot another quarterback around the league who is similar. I guess Patrick Mahomes even,
hmm
he was drafted and sat a full year in front of, I believe it was Alex Smith. So
yep,
like there is a ton of advantage to drafting a quarterback and letting them learn for a any point of, any duration. even if it's half the season, if the fans start booing, you're sub 500. Well, then you got to put them in and let's try it. But it is very difficult, and the league has been just chewing up and spitting out quarterbacks ever since 2021. With all these guys that have come in, Zach Wilson, and I look at even Desmond Ritter from last year. There's just a few that stand out that have kind of been able to succeed on very low reps, very just thrown in. Joe Burrow and Herbert did it back in 2020. Brock Purdy did it here with the Niners, and CJ Stroud probably would be the most recent. But other than that, you can look around the league and there's just, a revolving door of QBs. Look at Ritter with the Falcons, right? It's how can, he wasn't the first overall pick, but he went into the Falcons. It was an absolute mess of a team last year, a mess. But he was the starting quarterback. Everyone was really high on him. And of course, would have wished he performed better. But now look at him. He's not even on an active roster. So it's like, it just chews you up and spits you out. And I, from that standpoint, I don't know if he's going to have another chance. Guys like Jaron Hall for the Vikings, even. He came in last year for two halves. One, he got injured, and the other one, he got benched.
Yeah.
We might not ever see him start another game in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like these teams are just so hell-bent on finding a QB of the future, someone who's going to be there for 15 years, which of course you need. But they're so just set on it has to be now, and it's really hard to develop. So Bryce Young, I mean, at least they've gave him a year and a half.
Yeah.
Here last year was obviously brutal for them too. It doesn't look much better this year, but it will be interesting to see how he shakes out.
Yeah. I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback or coach or whatever you want to call it, but I feel like a lot of these teams, maybe they are trying to do this, but if they are, they're not executing or something's not right. But I feel like you have to kind of create a good team around a quarterback, and then the quarterback can flourish from there. There's going to be very few quarterbacks that you throw into a system that's going to flourish. It's just, you're going
to can count them on one hand.
Yeah. So and I feel like a lot of teams just go out and draft, the first round pick and expect that all their other little issues get fixed. You could clearly see that in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was holding up the team for majority of the time, and then when he got hurt, you throw in a different quarterback and the system is just trash. So like you can clearly see when that does happen. So, but
yeah, the QB can mask a lot of issues. Yes. I've always said that. That's the thing with Rodgers. I mean, there was a span of 2 MVP seasons and 3 NFC championships appearances, and the team probably had a lot of weak spots, but there are certain quarterbacks who can mask a lot of those issues. But if not dealt with, it will obviously it'll come. Yeah. It always rises, so the issues will show, and especially if there's an injury, like you say, Rodgers goes out, any of these teams, I look at anyone. Look at if Lamar Jackson came out, if Josh Allen came out, these are what we think are really good teams, but I don't even know who the backup for Lamar is. Is it still RG3? Probably not, but it's just like, it's amazing to see how different a team is when you're using a backup QB. So, yeah.
Well, kind of switching gears, NASCAR is also this weekend. They're going to Bristol, and it is a Saturday night race, and it is the last race before they cut off the round of 16 and start the round of 12. So 4 people will get cut out of the playoff system. And do you have any thoughts on who you think might get cut? And I can give you the last 4 right now who are in trouble. So the last 4 that are out of the top 12 right now are Denny Hamlin at -6 points, Brad Keselowski, -12 points, Martin Truex at -14, Harrison Burton at -20, and then right above the line, who are just in it, Ty Gibbs and Chase Briscoe are +6. William Byron's +25. Kyle Larson's +26. The rest are even more, so I would say that they're somewhat safe for the most part.
Right.
But do you think those last 4 guys that I said, Denny, Brad, Martin, Harrison, Burton, are they going to stay like that and get kicked out? Or are we going to see possibly Gibbs, Briscoe, fall out of it? Because this is one race.
I know. And it's Bristol.
Yes.
It's going to be mayhem. It's amazing that we're talking about Hamlin and Truex and Keselowski down under the cut line. That actually is very surprising. But when you look at the season, I mean, Hamlin and Truex just have not been able to figure it out in the second half. Can't even finish a race to save their lives. Denny for sure. And so I look at those guys, and Keselowski's there too, where it's hard for me to say they're going to get knocked out when there's guys like Briscoe and Burton and even Ty Gibbs. I haven't seen much from him in the second half. I think he did all right last week. But I definitely believe Denny's going to find a way. We all hate Denny. He's fun to hate, But the NASCAR needs a villain. He's going to find his way in. It is amazing, though, the amount of issues that team has had over the last month. I mean, it is very apparent. So I'm not saying he's going to be able to make this big push, but I do think he will find a way. I mean, he won at Bristol here in the spring.
Yep.
So I definitely think under the lights, he's going to find a way to shine. Yeah, Truex and Kez, we're going to see about those guys. I definitely think I like them more than I like Briscoe and Gibbs. But, I mean, Briscoe's been running well lately. Yeah, Gibbs is just going to get pushed around like he always does. He's got to, get those elbows up when he's driving. Get those. That's what he's got to do. So that's my advice to Ty Gibbs, and that's what he's going to need to do to get through the 16.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on there. I think Denny's going to find a way to get in to the top 12 by the end of the race. The rest of them, I think it's just going to be a scrum. Who's gonna have the least amount of issues? Who's gonna not speed on pit road? Whose team's not gonna have loose wheels? Who's not gonna mess up, basically? But if I had,
it probably will be a little bit of luck. I would agree. I have some favorites for the winners. Do you have any predictions for the winner?
For the win?
For the win.
Well, I always like to go with Kyle Larson, but if I'm gonna take Kyle Larson out of the picture, I definitely think Ty Gibbs is someone that could steal the show here. And I know you just talked about him putting his elbows up, but that guy, if you go look at his Bristol, stats, they're very good here. So
sure they are, pal.
Another person, though, I would be worried about is obviously Denny Hamlin. He's very good here. And I think it's really going to come down to qualifying, though. Whoever qualifies in the top 10 is going to have a shot at the win. Anyone behind that, I think, still, if you have a really good car, can get up there. But it's all about track position every time. So whoever qualifies up front is going to have the best opportunity. So,
of course, yeah, that's pretty out there with the Gibbs pick. But hey, maybe I'll eat these words. I'm definitely high on Mr. Blaney this week.
Okay.
Very high on Blaney. And but who I'm most high on is the number 8 car, as you see here.
Hey.
Rowdy Busch is going to come in and he's going to keep that streak alive. He has to win. He's been racing so well the last 3 races because he wants that win so bad. And that's what you need. He doesn't care about points, playoffs, or anything. He just wants that win. Probably worse than anyone else. So I believe we're going to see Rowdy there at the end. He's a wily vet, so you're going to watch him. I'm taking Busch, and I'm taking Blaney, and I might throw a little filler in on Chase Elliott. Okay. That's my thoughts for Bristol.
Yeah, those are good. Busch does have the best stats of all the active drivers here, but in recent next gen car has been ass here, but
Yes.
you know,
Yes, he has.
so you never know. He can turn it around. Switching gears up again, going to baseball. Baseball playoffs are starting in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, October 1st. I am not an avid baseball follower. I'll watch it here or there when there's nothing else on, or if I'm at the game. I love watching at the game because people watching, drinking beers, just taking in the atmosphere. I enjoy that. But do you have any thoughts on the playoffs? Maybe any favorites, non-favorites, someone that
Well,
might just shit the bed. I don't know.
well, last year I was about as high as it came on the Orioles,
Mhm.
#1 team in the AL, and they were the first exit. And
Mhm.
that's actually been a big trend over the last few years. It's that week off in between with the wild card going on, the showdowns. So we do see a lot of heavy hitters. I know last year Atlanta Braves was the same thing. You sit that week, you're the powerhouse, and then you come in and you're just cold and you can't get the bats going. The pitching's poor. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues. It's definitely happened over the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll find out basically ever since they changed the ruling on that. So this year,
Mhm.
I would love to tell you the Baltimore Orioles are going to roll. I really would.
Yeah.
I haven't loved what I've seen. They have seemed to have hit a little bit of a plateau and almost a streak, I would call it, where it has not been very powerful as they were before the All-Star break and even right out of the All-Star break. But so it'll be interesting to see. You're gonna need those, Santander and Henderson, Mullins. So these guys are gonna need to really step up if they're gonna have any shot,
Mhm.
because it just does not look like it. Now, what I will say is it always comes down to the pitching. Pitching is everything. And I do believe the Baltimore Orioles finally actually have these starters that can go through a full playoff, and be just as dominant as any other team. So I finally do believe their pitching is good.
Mhm.
Who I am very high on, I've
Yep.
mentioned them before, the Padres. I believe these bats that they have, it's top to bottom, 1 through 9. These guys can hit the ball. Just last night, they had Machado, Tatis, Solano back-to-back jacks. Merrill's hitting home runs. Higashioka's hitting home runs. These guys, it looks like they are balling out, having fun. That's a big thing too. Going to playoffs,
Yeah.
having fun, staying
Mhm.
loose, and I think their pitching is right there as well. Where I do believe we will see the Padres come out victorious. That is my prediction.
Okay.
San Diego Padres to win the World Series this year, and it will be fun.
Okay.
It'll be kind of like last year's Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
We're gonna see a young stud take these guys to the playoffs, take them deep. But this time, Jackson Merrill's the real deal. We are going to see him get a World Series ring his first year and win Rookie of the Year, even over Paul Skeens. Which,
Okay.
if I would have said that comment back in the All-Star break, people would have stoned me.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah.
No thanks.
All right. Well, unfortunately, there's no NHL and no NBA. They will be starting in October, early October for the NHL, and then mid to end for NBA. You got any thoughts, excitement on any of those? I know
I'm high on
hockey
my
season.
Avs.
I know hockey season's coming up, and that's always
Yeah,
fun.
I'm high on the Avalanche. Yeah, it starts in less than 20 days.
Yeah.
Actually, this Saturday, we have preseason hockey, which is cool. So it is fun to have that back. It'll be fun to watch. Connor McDavid's going to be just as good as ever stat-wise, but can never get over that hump and win a ring. Take that to the grave. So we're gonna see how the season shakes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited for that to start up again. Basketball will be coming here soon as well. Um, Basketball, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of change around the league yet, but it'll be fun to get into it and see all the moves that shake up.
All right. Well, that's about it for current events. I don't know if you have any other current events that you spotted out there, but
No, I think that covered most of it. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. This is a fun part of the year when football starts up, baseball's still going, getting ready for playoffs. This is the best. College football Saturdays, NFL on Sunday. It is a just great time to be alive.
yeah, and it's fall. It's getting cool. I don't know
Love
what
it.
it's like over in Switzerland. I don't know if you guys have trees or leaves over there, but
We have no trees, but a couple leaves. It's cold though. It's very cold. I love it.
yeah.
This is what I live for.
Well, that ends the current event side. Now we're gonna head into the meat and potatoes, the game, the place that everyone loves. And I would like to say that last week Sam kicked the living crap out of me.
Yeah, he did.
21 points, and I got 12 points, and there was a total of 29 points you could have gotten. So, yeah, he wiped the floor with me. But no one commented on the video, and if no one comments on the video and there's no like on the comment, I don't have to do any punishments. So to kind of get everyone in tuned on what the game inquires about is it's me versus the guest, which is you, Gary, and we will have a lot of challenges / games from Thursday, which is today, all the way till Monday. So it can be baseball, basketball, all the major sports.
Yep.
I kind of just pick through them, and we decide on who's going to win or what the question is. And every question you get correct, you get a point. Every one you get wrong, you get no points. So there's no negatives. There's none of that. You just get a point every time you get it right. And if you beat me at the end of it and someone comments and it's the most liked comment, I will go do the punishment, film it, and post it. But if not, I don't have to do anything. So, you know what? I guess I can thank everyone for not commenting because I got literally.
Is it too late for me to comment on that video?
It's too late. It closes right after the Monday night game. Right when the Monday night game's over, I go look at the video, and if there's nothing on there, I'm home free. But if I beat you, Gary, if I beat you, you don't have to do any punishment, but I get to basically slander all over social media that I kicked your ass on a sporting game. And no one wants to get beat by me anything sporting wise. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. So keep dreaming, pal. You've been last place in our fantasy league basically every year since its existence. So I'm not worried about a little sports challenge.
And Gary, everyone here who has watched the last two episodes does know I have 5 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. So,
and somehow you still have a 1-1 record.
I know. And you have what? 0 wins?
Well, yeah, but it's just been absolutely riddled with injuries, so it's not even the same. Laugh it up, pal.
So that is the game. So please, if you're not already, go subscribe, like the video, but definitely put a punishment down there. Because, you know, I like to go do punishments apparently. So, and yeah, let's get started into it. So we're starting off with Thursday Night Football tonight. Also, there is 30 points possible. There was supposed to be 30 last week, but Sam had to kick the video back a day, so we lost Thursday. So we lost a point. So you could outduel him because you do have he has the highest right now with 21 points. Thursday Night Football is the 1-1 New England Patriots at the 1-1 New York Jets. Who do you have winning this game?
I'm going to take the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers figures it out at home. They are going to put on a show if he can play more than 4 snaps.
Yeah, really, really jinx it up there, man.
I like the Jets a lot this week.
All right. Well, I am also going with the Jets because I don't know how the New England Patriots got that first win, but I guess it's the first couple weeks. Crazy things happen. I think the New York Jets come out here and fire away. Going on another question with the Jets. Will Breece Hall have 2 or more touchdowns? And let me give you some facts here. The reason why I said 2 or more touchdowns is because his first game, he had a rushing touchdown. That's it. His second game, he did not have a rushing touchdown, but he had a receiving touchdown. So will he have 2 or more touchdowns on Thursday? And I will say yeah, because, and it might even be both. It might be a rushing and a receiving. You know why? Because he's just getting better and better and better. So I'm going to say yes. I don't know what you were thinking.
No,
No.
not even close, pal. I'll tell you who will be getting 2 touchdowns. That's Garrett Wilson. We have not even seen a remote connection between Rodgers and Wilson, which has been talked about for years now. And so you're telling me that you think they're going to give it to Breece Hall, their first game back in the New York? This is going to be the Rodgers to Garrett Wilson show. I'm thinking 115 and a touchdown, maybe 2.
All right. Hey,
take it to the bank.
Fine. Well, we got a little difference there, so at least someone's getting a point. That's it for Thursday. I decided to skip all of Friday baseball, and I decided, let's just go to Saturday to make Saturday way more exciting for everyone. Because we're going to start off with some Saturday baseball and then do some Saturday college football. And to start off with, and I didn't put any of the records for baseball on here just because they're like so far in, it is what it is. It's almost playoff time.
It's fine.
If you didn't do your research, that's not my fault. Okay. So we have the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Cincinnati Reds. You got any ideas? Otherwise, I can tell you who I am going to pick.
Let's do it on 3.
Oh, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Reds. Oh,
yeah. Steal my answer.
Well, you know why? I'll tell you why I wasn't going to pick the Pirates is because Pirates don't win. The only Pirates that win are Buccaneers. So
unless Paul Skeens is pitching, then we're both going to be in trouble. But Reds, they're out of it. They're just balling out. For some reason, the coach is still playing all the starters. Makes no sense. They called up a couple of younger guys, and they don't even play them. So, but for that reason, they're still going to hit a couple of dingers. Ellie's still going to be a beast. India, these guys will be fine. Taking the Reds.
Fine. Next game is the Washington Nationals at the Chicago Cubs. You have any thoughts, excitements?
Give me the Nats.
Okay, fine.
How about you?
I'm always going to be with the Cubbies because I went against them a few times now, and they've done me dirty. So
you probably can't even name 3 players on the Cubs.
Tom Selleck, Jerry Fitzborg, and Tony Romo.
I stand corrected. That is correct.
Well, you better hope I don't beat you, pal. You better hope.
Not going to happen.
Next game, Detroit Tigers at the Baltimore Orioles. And I'll tell you why I picked this game. I've had this Baltimore Orioles game on every single week so far. And every single game these Baltimore Orioles play, I'm correct every time. So do you want me to go first so you can just copy me?
Why
Or
don't you let it loose? Yeah,
all right.
let loose.
Well, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles because they can't lose every time.
And they're playing Detroit. So should be a guaranteed win for the Orioles. Put me down for the Big O's.
You're going with hey Gary, I'm just reaching back here because I want to read you something real quick. You already put down your, so there's no switching it because this is permanent marker. Can't erase permanent marker, pal. I'm looking at this and it says Friday of last week, the Baltimore Orioles were at the Detroit Tigers and they lost.
You know what? If you live in the past, you die in the past. That's the past. So the fact that you even kept that receipt is absolutely comical.
Two
And we're going to
weeks,
see the Orioles put up 13 runs.
2 weeks prior, Tampa Bay Rays Saturday baseball. They went to the Orioles. They lost.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago they lost. You know, they played about 10 games in between that.
I'm just saying, man, they're going to win this time because I picked them. Otherwise, the last 2 times I didn't pick them, they lost. So thanks for jumping on the train, pal.
Yeah, right.
Last baseball on Saturday. The Chicago White Sox at the San Diego Padres.
I wonder who I'm going to take.
Yeah, who are you going to take? I would like to know.
I'm going to take the Padres, and Jackson Merrill hits a triple.
Oh, the one thing that I like about Chicago is their baseball. Their football team is a bunch of miscreants. So
Yeah.
I will go with Chicago White Sox.
You realize what their record is, right? They haven't got a win since 2004.
Yeah. Whatever, man. Moving on to Saturday college football. And I did put down the record, and then I did put down if they are ranked. So I'll let you know on that. First game is the 1-1 Marshall Thundering Herd at the 2-0 Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes are ranked third, and the Thundering Herd is not ranked.
OSU, and it's not even close.
I was going to go with the Thundering Herd because I feel like the Buckeyes were just going to lay an egg, but I can't do that to myself because I don't even know what a Thundering Herd is. And if I don't know what your mascot is, it's probably not a very good football team.
It's a buffalo. It's like a bison.
Well, why doesn't it say bison? A Thundering Herd? Thundering
It's
bison?
the plural of bison. Bisons. It's a herd. And they're thundering down with their hooves, kicking up all that dust, and it's making all this big racket behind it.
This is why they're not ranked.
True. Very true.
All right. Game 2. Also, Gary, I was very considerate on these football ones. Also on the baseball ones, because I tried to get ones that were around this time so you could actually stay up and watch it. So
I appreciate that.
I did try
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, so just so you could get a little excitement, just so I'm not, snapping you or something like, hey man, sorry you lost, and then you're sleeping. So
well, it's not going to happen though.
Yeah. You'll be dreaming like that.
Maybe.
North Carolina State Wolfpack, who are 2-1, at the 1-1 Clemson Tigers. And the Clemson Tigers are ranked 21, and the Wolfpack is not ranked.
Who are you taking?
Who am I taking? I'm taking the Wolfpack. You know why? One, they have one more win, and that's simple math. And two, a Wolfpack always beats Tigers. Always. So, you want to jump on that
Packers?
You want to jump on that train, or are you going to go over and get some Tigers?
Absolutely not. Clemson, any Debo team is going to wipe the floor. Plus, you know who went to the Wolf Pack was none other than
Who?
Philip Rivers, and anything that guy touches just turns to losses and just longevity of mediocrity. So, Clemson by a mile.
Fine. Next game, the 2-0 USC Trojans at the 2-1 Michigan Wolverines. Wolverines are ranked 18th, and the Trojans are ranked 11th.
Yep.
This is a toss-up for me. Wolverines have been playing like butthole.
Yeah.
But they're at home. Trojans
Yes, they
are
are the
coming
big
in.
house.
It's going to be loud. People are going to be screaming. The Trojans aren't going to know where they're at. Going to get a little confused. Then they're going to lay down the hurt on the Wolverines. So USC takes the win.
I feel like you just queued that up the completely opposite.
You might be right.
I'm going to take the Wolverines at the big house. Well, I don't even know what it is, 120,000 strong, whatever it is. It's hard to win there. They have not played well last week, but look for them to rebound at home. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, our last college football is the 2-0 Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. I really like saying that. At the 3-0 Texas Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns are ranked number 1, and the Monroe Warhawks are not ranked.
Why don't you take the Warhawks?
I really like that name.
Yeah, just go ahead and take them.
I feel like that's just the dumbest move ever. So I'm staying with number 1 and jumping on the train of those Longhorns.
How about this? You can only take the Longhorns if you can tell me the name of their starting quarterback.
Darius McFadden.
I think that guy's in federal prison.
Hey, you know what, Gary? I will switch my. Well, I already wrote it down. Are you going to allow me to switch it over since I did not know that? I will take them because if there's an upset and I win that, that is going to be a sweet victory.
There's not going to be an upset. You can keep the Longhorns. It's Arch Manning, by the way.
Manning.
It's another Manning. So maybe you actually do want to change your answer. Now, if you know, after knowing that, if you'd like to change, I'll let you.
I actually would, because the Manning family, how interesting are, they really grind my gears, especially Eli Manning. But at the same time, he grinds my gears. But I will take any of his cards, any of his memorabilia, anytime I can get it. But he drives me insane.
Well, yeah, they've been fun to hate. I'm with you. I haven't really loved the Mannings other than Eli taking 2 away from Brady. But I will tell you this, Lucas, if you haven't watched, Arch Manning is the real deal. He looks like an actual athlete, which those other 2 uncles do not look like. Those guys couldn't run to save their life. Arch Manning is big, physical, quick. He is an actual athlete. I actually think he will probably be the most successful Manning that has ever quarterbacked a pro team once that day comes.
Well, you know what? Thanks for really hyping that up, because I just switched it and now I'm not switching it back. So.
Yes.
Well, this college Saturday could just be completely horrible for me or completely great.
I hope so.
Find out. Well, moving on to Sunday NFL football. I actually did write this a little incorrect, and I ended up putting NASCAR after the Sunday football, but that's fine. We'll circle back, because technically, well, actually, we'll just do it now, because NASCAR's on Saturday. Let's get all the stuff,
do it
in order. So they're at Bristol, like I said. The question is, does Denny Hamlin advance to the round of 12
Yes.
You think yes. I am also being lame, and I think yes too. So second
Briscoe or Ty Gibbs?
are being kicked out.
Yep.
All right. Well, you don't get any points for that, but there's a kudos to you. Second question. Do we see a playoff driver win at Bristol or a non-playoff driver win? So do we have one of the top 16 drivers win, or are we going to have someone outside of the top 16? And last week we did. There was a lot of people at that road course in that top 10 that were not even in there because they were running a totally different race. They were not racing for points. They were racing
Right.
for a win. This is not a
Correct.
road course, though. So,
Correct. This one's tough. I want to go with no, because Rowdy Bush.
well,
The
so,
answer is probably yes, but I'm going to say no. Go on my gut.
so you think a playoff driver is going to win?
No, I'm saying
Oh,
there will not be a playoff driver.
it's a
winning
non-playoff
this
driver.
race.
Okay, perfect.
Correct.
That's exactly what I want you to do.
Well,
So
I'm maybe giving you a favor there, but I got to go with my gut.
non-playoff. I am going with there will be a playoff driver.
Well, obviously you're getting the 16 best drivers in the league, pal. But hey, Bristol, there's going to be a big wreck late, and you never know. Ryan Preece might just sneak up there.
Great, yeah, that's exactly what we want. Ryan Priest to win. That makes us all happy. Well, now we're on to football Sunday, and specifically the noon games. We have the 0-2 New York Giants at the 1-1 Cleveland Browns. This is a stink of a show here, folks.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the Giants are poop and will stay poop. So don't get me wrong, the Cleveland Browns have not figured it out offensively yet, but their defense is going to be far too much to handle. I think the Cleveland Browns will prevail.
All right, perfect. I actually, even though we've been going back and forth, I actually agree with you on this one because I think the Giants are literally the second worst team in the league, right above the Carolina Panthers. So
I would agree.
Game 2 is the 1-1 Philadelphia Eagles at the 2-0 New Orleans Saints. Saints all the way. They have been kicking some butt. They're going to take this. I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts, even if he ran the whole time, and he has no shot.
Yeah, what we're seeing the Saints do, they are looking like a legitimate powerhouse. It's unbelievable.
Mhm.
That defense is old,
Mhm.
but they are good. And Derek Carr is finally playing like the Derek Carr we all knew he could be.
Yeah.
Back in 2005 or whenever the heck he came in the league. So this has been fun to watch. I'm going to also say Saints take care of business at home.
All right. Really, all right. I don't know how this is even the thing, but the 2-0 Houston Texans at the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking Houston. And if Houston doesn't win this, and I've said this for the last 3 weeks, because they've played literally trash teams, and they're supposedly, quote unquote, a really good team on paper. If they lose to the Minnesota Vikings, even at home, CJ Stroud can just kiss his whole rest of the season goodbye. They might make it a positive, like above, but basically, if they lose to the Minnesota Vikings at home, they're basically saying, "Hey, we're just going to get in the playoffs and lose right away." So I'm still
Well,
taking Houston, but I'm giving them an ultimatum.
well, you're going to love this.
Oh,
I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings.
jeepers.
Do I believe they are a juggernaut? Absolutely not.
They did.
But I took the Texans plus 6.5 last week against the Bears.
Mhm.
The Bears.
Oh.
And they could only cover 6 points. So the way the Vikings have been playing lately, I think we're going to see something different from the Vikings. I think we're going to see Ty Chandler come out. I think Aaron Jones had that costly fumble, maybe has a little bit of a rib injury. We're going to see Ty Chandler come out, and he's going to run all day. And I think, don't get me wrong, I believe the Texans are the better team over a season. However, I just think the Vikings have it figured out right now, and the Texans are still trying to figure out that magic. And until they do, I think they get a loss here in Minnesota.
All right. Well, the Vikings did that to the 49ers, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm just telling Texan fans, get ready to have a basically waste of a season if they lose. So,
Yeah,
um,
maybe.
Game 4, the 0-2 Denver Broncos at the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers will continue their reign and go 3-0.
Buccaneers as well.
I don't think we need to talk about the Broncos.
Nope.
Great logo, great colors, just a horrible team.
Yep. Bad coach, bad. Bo Nix will be good, but again, thrusted him in, and
Yeah,
it's hard to move the ball.
Mm-hmm. Game 5, the 1-1 Green Bay Packers at the 0-2 Tennessee Titans. This one got me thinking. I was thinking, well, Tennessee Titans are going to continue to suck. But then they're at home again. They can't suck again, can they? And they're going against a team that doesn't even have their starting quarterback.
Maybe.
That's true. He could, but I feel like it's doubtful. But yeah. So who are you picking?
I'm taking the Green Bay Packers on the road.
All right.
How about you?
Even though I'm wearing a Packers jersey, I'm thinking the Tennessee Titans pull off a win, and we're talking a final, field goal kick, 3-point win. It's not going to be a blowout. It's just going to be something like that.
You must be a really big fan, huh?
I'm trying to win, pal. Okay. Game 6, the 1-1 Chicago Bears at the 0-2 Indianapolis Colts. Another crap bowl. I know who I want. Do you know who you want?
Yeah.
All right. Count of 3. We'll just shout them out. 1, 2, 3. Colts.
Colts.
Oh, yeah, we'll take the Colts.
I cannot stand Caleb Williams right now. I cannot stand him. Did you see the post game with CJ Stroud? Stroud tried to give him some advice, was like, dude, they drafted you number 1, man. You just keep your head up, like you're good. And he wanted nothing to do with that advice. Nothing to do. He was trying to bump him up. He had nothing to do with it. He was trying to get away as much as he could.
Yeah.
And then he said after the thing, what do I need advice from him for? Leave it to the Bears to screw up another quarterback.
They're good at it. They're very good at it, Number 7. We got the 2-0 LA Chargers at the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know what they're doing right, but they are doing something right. And
It's that defense.
They're going to continue on and win because Herbie just will not be there.
Now, don't put this on Herbie. This will, hands down, be the hardest game for the Chargers this season so far. I really don't want to go against the Chargers, though my gut is saying Steelers. I'm going to take the Chargers because you said the Steelers.
Fine.
And Herbie and J.K. Dobbins are going to prove you wrong.
Well, that was all the noon games. Now we're on to the afternoon games, which there's 5. And we have the first game, which is the 1-1 Miami Dolphins at the 2-0 Seattle Seahawks. Go.
Seahawks.
Seahawks? Any reason or just?
Miami's going to be absolute mess at quarterback. So They were a mess with Tua that game, and they're going to be a mess without him. So
I agree, and that's why I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks also. So, on to the crappy 0-2 Carolina Panthers at the 1-1 Las Vegas Raiders. Oh,
do I have to watch this game?
I don't even know if it'll be on TV, will it?
Probably not.
For how much crap that I'm giving
But keep in mind, Andy Dalton's the quarterback now. So
I know.
will we see a little bit more offensive efficiency from them?
I just think I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. Even though I've been giving them so much crap, I just think you can't go not winning a game that long. Like, there's been longer ones, but I'm saying if they don't win this game, they're probably just going to go 0-16. I'm giving them,
I'm going to take the Raiders coming off of a big high last week from that crazy finish.
All right. Well, the 1-1 San Francisco fraud 49ers at the 0-2 LA Rams.
That'll be the Niners, and it won't even be close.
Okay. I'm going with the Rams because I think the 49ers are going to continue to be frauds, even though they had a great first week. Is the sun in your eyes or what?
Well, you realize the Rams don't have any starting receivers, right?
They'll find a way.
Okay.
They'll pull someone off the streets.
Hey, well, pretty much is what they have done, yes.
Hey, I got to play a little aggressive to pull that win off. Game number 4 in the afternoon is the 1-1 Detroit Lions at the 1-1 Arizona Frauds.
They didn't look so fraudulent last week, though.
Yeah, but if you actually take the time and look back at these Arizona Frauds, they have maybe 5 seasons of their whole NFL career, which dates back to, I believe, the 50s, maybe longer. 5 seasons that were good. And good as I mean they make the playoffs. They have a positive year.
Well, they beat our Packers back in
Oh, you know what?
What was that? 2013?
That falls into their, good years, unfortunately. Taking the Lions.
All right, I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to take those frauds.
Why don't you take those frauds? Oh, man. That stresses me out. Final game of the afternoon, the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens at the 1-1 Dallas Cowboys.
How about them boys?
You gonna take the boys?
They are furious after last week. And I think they come out and take care of business. And I think they put the Baltimore Ravens 0-3 and confused. The sky will be falling in Baltimore.
If that happens, yes, the sky will definitely be falling. But I don't think that's going to happen because I think the Cowboys were frauds also. And I'm throwing that fraud word around a lot. But the Cowboys belong in federal prison because the fact that they went out week 1 against the Browns and put on a whooping, and people are like, these guys are looking like the real deal. They're playing the Browns.
Yeah. And the Browns were terrible in that game, too, by the way. So I'm with you. They could be frauds. They definitely have a lot of firepower, though. So if they click any given game, they could throw up 50 points.
True. It's not going to happen this week, though. So.
Okay.
That ends it there. So we basically have 3 games left because there's a double header on Monday night, if you didn't know.
Yes, that's right.
But Sunday Night Football is the 0-2 or the 2-0. Sorry, I thought there should be the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs at the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
This is prime time.
Wait, yeah, it's prime time. It's the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs and refs at the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons. There we go. Got it correct.
Of course. I am going to take primetime Kirk and the Atlanta Falcons to give Patrick Mahomes his first loss of the season. Mahomes has been playing poor this year. That team is, you're right, 2-0, but potentially could be 0-2.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling primetime Kirk comes alive.
I hope that happens, but I just think the refs they love them and they're going to keep them in the game. And Kansas City is going to win.
Will Taylor be in the stands? I'm assuming primetime. Will she bring any friends? Last time she brought Hugh Jackman and Blake Lively.
She'll probably be there since it's prime time. If it wasn't a prime time and it was away, probably not. But probably, yeah, no. But I have another question on this Saturday night game. Will Patrick Mahomes throw one or more interceptions? And I have some stats for you.
Okay.
So week 1, he threw 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Week 2, he threw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So he is on par to make as many interceptions as touchdowns. Hence why I wore this defensive jersey this podcast. So, will Patrick Mahomes throw 1 or more interceptions in this game? I think yes.
I'm going to say yes as well.
Right.
I think he will keep his streak up. We are seeing a new Mahomes, and I believe that that front line of the Falcons is going to give him some fits.
Okay. Moving on to Monday Night Football, which we have the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars that they don't know what they're doing at the 2-0 Buffalo Bills. I think this is a no-brainer, and I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, give me the Bills too. No-brainer.
Yeah. Then the second game is the 1-1 Washington Commanders at the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals.
This might be my lock of the week.
Oh, yeah?
My mortal lock. This is so guaranteed. I can't even stand it.
Okay.
I am hammering the Bengals.
Bengals. Okay.
If you look at the Bengals these last 3 years, 4 years even, they lose every couple first weeks. They can't win a game to start the year to save their life.
Mm-hmm.
But they do figure it out. And I think Burrow figured it out last week against the Chiefs. And I think they're going against a much weaker opponent in the Commanders. And Burrow will get his first win, and it'll be sterling. It'll probably be, I'm thinking, a 15-point margin.
Okay. Trust me, I want the Bengals to do good, but the Commanders are just gonna pull something out of their butt, and I don't know, just gonna happen. So I'm going with the Commanders.
You're taking the Commanders?
I'm taking the Commanders. The unfortunate Commanders. But to go along with that, I have a question with that game. Will Joe Burrow keep his perfect record and not throw an interception? So the first 2 weeks, he has not thrown an interception. Will he continue that trend? No interception.
I was wondering what perfect record you were talking about.
Yeah.
So just in 2 games, he has not thrown a pick. Will he throw one in this game?
Yeah.
No. No, he will not.
You think he's going to get an interception?
I'm going to say no. My official answer is no. And if it is, it's because it was deflected.
Okay.
How about you?
I think I'm going to go with yes. Because I need the points. I've thrown some Hail Marys out there.
Okay.
And that locks in a win, hopefully, for me on one of those two. Hopefully.
Good luck, pal.
Last question. This goes for all football. So from Thursday to Monday. Will any team kick a 53 or longer field goal and make it?
Absolutely.
You think there is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking Justin Tucker, to be exact.
Okay.
Their offense is good enough to move the ball, but the Dallas defense is good enough to stop them, and they have all the faith in the world still in Tucker, even though he has missed a few here. That's not characteristic of him. I think he or someone else will nail a 55-yard or 53, 4, 5. Yeah.
Well, it has to be 53 or longer, not a 50. I'm going with no, because the last 2 weeks I've made a similar field goal kicking thing. Maybe it was like, a last minute game, whatever. But it hasn't happened. And I think it's going to continue to not happen. No 53 plus yard field goals. There might be a 50, there might be a 52, but there will not be a 53 or longer. So,
all right.
Other than that, that is all of the questions. And I guess before we wrap this bad boy up, do you have any other thoughts, expressions, excitements, anything about the sports weekend?
I'm excited that Bristol race is on Saturday. I didn't think of that. Yeah, my parting thought is I'm also in a Survivor League. I don't know if Lucas you're familiar, but if any of our watchers are in Survivor Leagues,
I'm aware.
let me give you a little bit of advice. I would definitely go for, if you still have the Bengals. Many of you probably took them week 1, and you might be eliminated because of it. If you still got the Bengals, I like the Bengals. I do like the Browns versus the Giants, and I believe the other one was Buccaneers v. Broncos. I think you can hammer any of those. Obviously, Lucas, are you in any Survivor Leagues?
Not this year. I have been in them, though.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a brutal week, actually, or a brutal couple weeks. Last week with all those favorites going down, this week, who knows? It could be the same thing. So we'll see, but those would be my pick on that. But yeah, I'm just excited to watch some sports. Like you said, this is fall weekend. Makes me want to go out, throw a little football in the backyard. We'll see. They don't have footballs out in Switzerland, so there's that.
Yeah. Maybe we can mail you one.
Hey, that wouldn't be the worst. I'd take that. Maybe a little squishy one for the pool.
Yeah, a little Nerf one.
Yeah.
You want with the tail or no tail?
Give me one that whistles.
Okay, fine. Tail it is. Well, thanks for coming on, Gary. It was fun doing this. It's going to be fun when I get to report and tell you that you lost. So, and I got my first win because both guests before you have won. So pressure's on, pal. Pressure is on.
I wish you luck, pal. I really do. You're going to need it. And if any of our viewers are still here watching this, appreciate you sticking around this long. Hope you all are having a great day. But yeah, thank you, Lucas, for having me on.
Yeah.
This is my company, so I guess I should thank myself too.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And so, excited to do more videos like this. Excited to whip Lucas's arse, and we will report back with who won. And hopefully there's a punishment for Lucas to do.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks again, Gary, for coming along the ride. And we will let you guys all know who won. Make sure you comment down here. Even if you just hate the thing, just anything, even if it's not even a punishment, like just say something. Other than that, just make sure you subscribe to everything Mustard Cats on all of our social medias, and look forward to doing another episode next week. And that one might also have another Mustard Cat employee / co-owner on it then. So other than that, folks, have a wonderful weekend. Go enjoy some sports, and see you later.